Alright, what's going on, y'all? So, I had to make this video because I had a crazy experience happen to me. It was painful! Almost as painful as this. I'm in the process of moving into a house. Now, not looking to buy right now, not looking to buy a house right now because I've lived in an apartment my whole life. I lived in cities. I don't know what it's like to take care of a house. So I thought, you know what? Let me rent for one more year, rent in a house, and see what it's like to take care of a house by myself. I'm the most, like, I can't even hang blinds, right? Like, if you look at a wall, it's got 40 holes around it. It was probably me trying to hang a blind. So anyway, houses are hard to come by to rent. I don't know if you've ever tried to rent a house, you know, not like a college house, like that kind of house, but like just a normal, residential, nice neighborhood house. They're very difficult to come by. If we actually found a place. And it was, let me explain the place. Beautiful. Nice neighborhood. Like when we got there, it seemed very peaceful. It's close to everything that we wanted to be close by. It's a nice house. The only drawback, the only downside to it is that the house is a little bit smaller than I like, which isn't necessarily a bad thing because we only plan on being there for like a year. So if we're only going to be there for a year, does it matter if it's small because that means it's less stuff to buy? But you know, I kind of want a little bit more room. But I mean, nonetheless, it's a nice house, huge backyard, really great neighborhood, close to everything we want. I have a good friend. You may see a picture of her right here. Boop. And she is amazing at business. She's a MPAC 100 honoree, and she's really good at negotiating. Like, it's a personal thing. So whenever I talk to her, she always tells me about negotiation, and oh man, she's such a good negotiator. So I thought, you know, she actually got a residential and a professional property, and she talked the landlord down, and I thought she did an amazing job, and I thought, why not do it myself? So I liked the place. It was a good place. The only thing was, like I said, it was a little bit small. So enter negotiation time. Now, we were one of the first people to actually view it. Someone actually had viewed it, but then it fell through. So we were the second people to view it. And I just didn't want to pay full price for it. So I was like, you know what? My friend would negotiate. I should negotiate too. It's a muscle I need to flex a little bit more. So I offered the guy less than what he was offering for rent. So basically what I got at the end of the day was I asked for, I'd give him 4 months rent up front, and he would take off basically a month of rent. And he said, you know what? I like you. All right, fine, we'll do it. So he shook my hand and said, I'll give it to you. Now, here's where I messed up. I wasn't ready at that moment to fully commit to the deal. Here's what I mean by that. I had 3 other places lined up that I wanted to see. So this was the second place that I saw. First place didn't like, but I had 3 more places that were potentials. Now, I decided to say, all right, well, I offered him a lower deal. So for easy numbers, right? Let's just say the price was like 1,000. And I offered him like 700, right? These aren't the real numbers. I'm just making it easy. It was 1,000. I offered 700. He counters with like 900. And then I recounter, and then we kind of reach this like central place, right? Now, it wasn't the number I originally threw out, but it was still cheaper than what the original rent is. Like I said, we basically saved a month's rent. And I said, I want you to build a larger closet because he's doing low construction on it. So he said, okay, you know what? I'll build a larger closet. And the other thing that I said was that in the fence, we don't have a fenced-in backyard. So I was going to put in the fenced-in backyard. Now, I figured I was going to be investing money into his property. I'd be giving him some money up front. I got some bargaining chips. It's going to be good. So he said, cool. He'll build the closet, and he'll take off the month's rent. But I still said, I want to think about it. Because I was hoping that maybe if I like backed off, he would call me up and say, I thought about it. I'm going to go a little bit lower. I'm going to give you the price that you want. That was on Sunday. Now, I wasn't seeing my next property until Tuesday. So I had Monday to kind of think about it, let him think about it. Here's what happened between Sunday and Tuesday. Someone else calls this dude and wants to see the property. Someone else calls this dude and wants to see his property. Basically, somebody offered him 1 year's rent, full price, up front, as is. Don't. Painful, man. It's painful. How am I supposed to compete with that? I'm not going to compete with it. So, here's what basically happened. Here's the current situation. I like the guy a lot. He's actually looks like he's gonna be a really cool dude to work with. He thinks he's gonna be I think he thinks I'm gonna be a cool dude to work with. He said he wants us to have it. So now either he's negotiating with me, doing a great job, or he's telling the truth. So here are my takeaways from this negotiation session. Takeaway number 1 is all about demand and supply. If he had the property on, was advertising it for months, then I would know I had more negotiating strength, if you will. But he had only advertised it for 2 days. So I mean, literally he had just put it up. So he had time to kind of wait, and it was a few weeks before we need to move in. Anyway, negotiations point number 2, when he offered the deal, I should have been ready to sign the check right then and there. I wasn't ready to do it. I still wanted to see other places. What I should have done in hindsight, which I can't do now, is I should have given him the security deposit right then and there, because at least that would have held me as the property owner. And if I would have seen the other houses and they would have been better deals, I could have called them up and say, you know what, actually this isn't going to work, please return the security deposit, because it wasn't non-refundable. If it was non-refundable, that's a different story. But since it's refundable, I figured, you know what, I could, in hindsight, I should have gave him the check, secured that location, checked the other places, because I checked the other places and they sucked. I mean, they were just horrible. Like, I mean, the pictures, you ever seen like that person on Facebook or MySpace that be taking them angle pictures of themselves and you can't tell if they look good or if they're ugly, and you meet them in person and they're really ugly? It was like that, but it was a house, not a person on Facebook. Now I'm in this whole thing. So he basically comes back to me and says, listen, if you want the place, you got to pay full rent. I'm not building your closet. What's up? So I had to say yes, because I really wanted the place. Like, the more I thought about it, the more I was like, the place is perfect. It's beautiful. Great neighborhood. Great location. I should have just taken it when I had the chance. So I lost the opportunity. The friend of mine who I told you about, she said something about negotiation. She said, with negotiating, you have to either be willing to pay the full price or walk away completely. If you're not willing to walk away completely, or you're not willing to pay the full price, you're not going to have a good negotiation. Because I did the whole walk away thing, but the hindsight is I really wanted the place. But I thought, the grass was greener on the other side. What you should take away from this, if you've watched this whole video, because I'm not going to be editing it that much, so it's going to be a little long. If you're going to be negotiating with somebody, make sure you understand what's happening. If you're gonna put a deal out on the table, move on the deal as soon as possible. A house is hard to come by. I should have known that. So obviously there's gonna be a lot of people who are interested in it, in a really nice neighborhood, in a really great location. I shouldn't have thought time was on my side. I knew that it was newly put on the market. Boom. 2, somebody hit me with a counter offer. They offered him basically more money than I was offering, and they offered it all up front. It's hard for me to counter that. I mean, what am I going to do? Offer the guy more money? Now, what if the other person offers more money? Then, it becomes this whole upward negotiation where now I'm losing more money. So, this was my mistake. I should have been able to move forward. I should have been able to do it as soon as possible, but I didn't. So, what I hope that you gain from this is understand what you're going into. If it's a situation where the supply is really, really, high and the demand is low, it's a different type of ball game. In this particular case, the demand was really, really high and the supply is really, really low. I should have figured that before I decided to walk away. 2, if you're gonna negotiate with somebody, make sure you're willing to sign the check or move forward in that moment. Sometimes taking a day to think about it could prove another person coming in and doing a deal. Now, mind you, he could be completely BSing me. He could be completely saying to himself, you know what? I want this dude to pay full price. I don't like his deal anymore. I'm going to see how bad he really wants it. And you know what? He won, because I really do want the property. So I'll let you know if I get the property. I'm not sure if I'm going to get it. But when you negotiate, understand your situation. Understand the time context of what's going on. Understand how desperate the person you're talking to is. Be willing to pay the full price or be willing to walk away 100% and move forward as fast as possible. I hope my folly in losing thousands of dollars and not getting the closet that I want helps you not make a bonehead decision. All right, high five. You're awesome.